Hello everyone, today is 26th of December. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Friends, first of all, let's have a quote for today's GS folder. So today we will be taking a quote from the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. He says, indifferentism is the worst kind of disease that can affect people. Now guys, this particular quote pertains to an attitude of apathy that has been developed into the people, and that particular thing is translating into the behavior and the attitude even into the bureaucracy. And the cost for such kind of attitude and behavior is the poor governance, poor bureaucratic structure, red tapeism, and a kind of bureaucratic attitude by which the people are not able to get the good governance, the grievance redressals are not provided, and all such kind of phenomena are happening. So, guys, only one way to deal with such kind of bureaucratic attitude of indifferentism is to teach civil servants the value of the compassion and the value of empathy. And basically these two values have also been called as the foundational value for the civil services. So guys, whenever into the GS paper number 4, if a question onto the poor bureaucratic attitude is asked, we can quote the indifferentism, as well as in GS paper number 2 governance, such kind of thing can also be provided. So guys, that's all, and now let's take the newspaper analysis. Now, guys, the first news has been taken from the Business Standard newspaper, and it is talking about the recent government decision to start the dry run for the COVID 19 vaccine. So, into the pilot phase, it has been decided that into the four states, that is, into the north, south, west, and east, the vaccine trials will be taken up. And the four states have been chosen. They are the Assam, Gujarat, Punjab, and the Andhra Pradesh. Now, the four different states have been chosen to see that how the vaccine performs into the different topographies, different regions, different climate. So, guys, here the vaccines will be given to the people. Now, there are the priority groups which will be chosen for the vaccination, and they will include the health workers, the frontline workers, and the prioritized age group people. Now, this pilot exercise will be taking up in two of the districts in all the four states. And guys, here the exercise will be focusing on to the data entry. Now, for the vaccine, the entry will be done into the Covin, which is an online platform. Here, the entire history with respect to the vaccine tracking, vaccine delivery, the temperature at which the vaccine has been stored, the people to whom the vaccine has been given, everything will be logged into this particular platform. After that, guys, this particular platform will also be focusing to test the cold storage facilities, the transportation arrangement for the vaccine, the crowd management, and all these kind of things. Now, as the vaccine is being provided, it is also being aimed that in all the different clinical settings the vaccine needed to be provided. For example, into the district hospitals, community health centers, primary health care centers, urban sites, private health facilities, and into the rural centers, because as when the full-fledged vaccine rollout will be beginning, the only government hospitals cannot fulfill this entire particular task, so all such kind of facilities are being tested. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Business Standard, and it will be important article for our GS paper number 3, that is the mobilization of the economic resources and the budget practices. Now guys, what has happened here? We can see that the article is saying the FRBM Act may be tweaked as escape clause not valid. Now guys, before going into this particular exact article, let's see some of the background. So guys, first of all, what do we understand by this FRBM Act? So, FRBM Act for the first time was established in 2003, and it stands for the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. Now, guys, this act was established in order to control the government excessive borrowing and expenditure which are going since early 90s. Now, guys, it was assumed that under the FRBM Act, a transparent fiscal management mechanism will be established. Now, guys, under the FRBM Act, it was said that government will be taking a mandatory target that what will be the fiscal deficit maximum that can be committed by the government. Now, guys, if I crudely explain the fiscal deficit, it means the excess amount that the government is spending in comparison to the money that government is receiving via the different mechanisms, that is the tax, non-tax, and all such kind of revenue. So basically, it was said into the FRBM Act 2003 that certain fiscal deficit targets were given which were to be achieved by 2008 and 2009. Guys, what were actually the target? Now it is not required because this particular development has been very much old. However, if you know, this was also the time when the financial crisis happened into the world due to the meltdown which happened into the USA. So government was not able to meet all these targets which were to be decided by 2008 and 9. And then guys, certain amendments were done into the FRBM Act in 2012, and new targets were to be achieved by 2015. However, guys, these targets were also not achieved, and then some again new amendments came, and finally in 2016, government decided that we should now actually make a new committee which will suggest that what will be the fate of the FRBM in India. And guys, in 2016, NK Singh committee was established which will be then recommending the FRBM targets, and now under NK Singh committee's recommendation we are following the FRBM target. Now, guys, on to the basis of the committee, the government decided that the fiscal deficit up to 3% of the GDP by March 31, 2021 will be achieved. Now, guys, if I actually tell you, there is a mechanism also into this new FRBM Act which has been amended, that if government in some particular year faces a financial difficulty, it can utilize the escape clause. Now, under the escape clause, government can take a 0.5% respite. For example, if 3% of the FD was to be achieved, we can go to the 3.5%. Now, into this particular budget, guys, the last budget which came into the February, already the government has taken the escape clause and already had increased the budgetary estimate to 3.5%. And guys, even this enhanced limit is now not coming handy because of the excess expenditure that is being done under the COVID-19, and at the same time the collections have been very much low. So guys, up till the October, 119% or approximately 120% of the limit of this 3.5% was to be achieved, and the similar pattern will be continuing into the next year also. So guys, it has been said that under the escape clause already we have taken up the 0.5%, but still we need more. So now the escape clause will not be valid, we have to change or amend the FRBM Act. Now, guys, government is saying that government has spent nearly 29 lakh crore rupees under the different stimulus that has been given by government. For example, there was the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan package that was given. After that, the Reserve Bank of India also gave large number of stimuluses, and by that particular thing, so much expenditure has been carried. However, this particular thing has been contested by many of the economists and thinkers, and it has been said that maximum government, the money which has been given by the government, it is just 3.4 lakh crore rupees, which is actually very much less given the size of Indian economy that was needed. However, guys, anyhow, it is being said that the FRBM Act has to be tweaked and government need to spend more of the money in order to bring the economy back. And guys, according to certain of the economists, it has been said that the fiscal deficit can even go much higher into the financial year 2021. And basically, government needs to be ready to amend the FRBM Act because much room cannot be provided by using the escape clause. Maximum of 0.5% can be enhanced, but now much more than that will be required. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, here very briefly, we can see a development which has been carried into the IISER, that is the Indian Institute of Science Education and Research. Here, two of the scientists have actually identified the gene which regulates the greening of the plant. Now, guys, this particular thing is known that the green color to the plant is given by the chlorophyll. But the chlorophyll is actually a very complicated stage, and before the chlorophyll, there are many other stages also. See, as the seedling will be emerging out of the soil, it will be immediately be needing the chlorophyll which can synthesize the sunlight. And guys, immediately the chlorophyll cannot be manufactured. So what happens, if before that the protochlorophyllide as a compound is prepared, and this protochlorophyllide converts into the chlorophyll. Now it has been said that actually here there is one particular gene, that is the BBX11, which regulates the amount of the protochlorophyllide so that in adequate quantity the chlorophyll can be made. Now guys, if the protochlorophyllide will be more, then it will lead to more of the chlorophyll, and then there will be a problem which is called as the photo bleaching into the plant, and it will impact the survival of the plant. However, at the same time, if the amount of the protochlorophyllide is less, then there will be less of the chlorophyll, and the plant will not be able to synthesize the sunlight into the adequate number, and then there will be the survival issues again. So the actual exact amount of photochlorophyllide needs to be there, and it is regulated by the BBX11 gene. And this particular discovery has been made by these scientists, and their study has been published into a reputed UK journal, that is the New Phytologist. So this is guys the entire development into this particular thing. It has been said that this particular study will be important for the farmers into India. India is a tropical country, and here many a times the plant faces a kind of a distress, and due to that the farming community is also under the distress. So crop failure is a big reason, and how that crop failure could be tamed, it could be basically the solutions can be provided if we know that how the plant is behaving under the sunlight. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we will be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about the abuse of article number 356 and how it might be leading to the problem. Now, guys, this particular issue has now been raised because of the Andhra Pradesh High Court, which just now gave a kind of a direction that there might be a constitutional breakdown into the Andhra Pradesh, and therefore the Andhra Pradesh High Court asked the Andhra Pradesh state government that it needs to justify that why the constitutional breakdown is not there and why the president rule cannot be imposed. Now, guys, it has been provided into the article that there are two problems into this particular respect. First of all, the judiciary is misusing this particular article 356, so judicial misuse is there. And secondly, article number 356 is itself undemocratic. It was said that only India and Pakistan are having the article number 356, which is basically borrowed from the Government of India Act 1935. And during the time of the freedom struggle, the freedom fighters actually opposed this article number 356 type of arrangement under the Government of India Act 1935, but strangely they themselves adopted it under the Constitution of Independent India. Now guys, it has been said that under article number 356, basically the debate when it started, it was assumed that governor will be an elected person, and then if the governor feels that the constitutional breakdown has been there, then he can refer the report to the president. But guys, into the meanwhile, the final version of the constitution that came there, the government was not elected, rather it was to be appointed by the central government, and here the problem is coming. Now, guys, at the time of the Constituent Assembly debates, it was assumed that there will be no problem in appointing the governor by the center, because into the independent India, the governor will not be just acting as the agent of the center, because they will be driven by the patriotism and all such kind of things. But into these so many years, it has been proved that governor has acted actually as the pawn of the center, and therefore, guys, such article number 356 is actually undemocratic. Moreover, it has also been provided that when originally the constitution was being framed, there has been a historic problem, that is, into article 356 it has been said that president can impose the president rule if the governor presents a report or otherwise. Now this otherwise is a very vague kind of term, and this otherwise can include anything. Even if the president has a dream that the constitutional breakdown has happened, then into this otherwise ground it can also be included. And guys, particularly the members such as the Shibban Lal Saxena, they were very much happy by such kind of provisions and had said that including a vague term like otherwise will be a retrograde step, and it will lead to reducing the autonomy of the state to a farce. And guys, PS Deshmukh also favored the deletion of the term otherwise. So therefore it has been said that actually it was a problem, and it was even said that the drafting committee is turning to be a drifting committee and doesn't understand that what will be the implication. And when today the Andhra Pradesh High Court has suggested the breakdown of the constitutional machinery, it is saying under the word otherwise. Guys, earlier also such a thing has happened into the 1997 when the Patna High Court also suggested the breakdown of the constitutional machinery to the president. Further, it has been provided that the article number 356 was assumed to be a dead letter by the B.R. Ambedkar. But such a kind of an assumption has been wrong, and more than 125 times the article number 356 has been used, and all the time for the political consideration. The president has not acted as per the spirit, and guys, only the K.R. Narayan was the president who refused twice the recommendation for imposition of the president rule. He refused for the two times in Uttar Pradesh and for one time into the Bihar. And he even into the Bihar, when he refused the recommendation, provided a very kind of a detailed note which rebutted all the charges which were made by the governor of the Bihar at that point of time. And guys, apart from these two instances, the president had not acted as per the spirit and had not questioned the rationale for imposition of the president rule. And since 1951, the president rule has been imposed just to bring down the government into the state when it is not in sync with the ideology of the center government. Guys, this particular precedent has been very much rampant throughout 1960s and 70s. For example, Indira Gandhi utilized the article number 356 27 times. And guys, even when the Indira Gandhi was removed, the Janta Party which came to the power, it utilized the same article number 356, and into the one stroke it suspended the state government into the 9 of the states. And this particular thing was even upheld by the Supreme Court of India in the state of Rajasthan versus Union of India case. So, guys, since from the very start we have seen that the article has been very much grossly misused. So, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about the dilution of the labor laws in India, which comes under the topic of GS paper number 3. Now, guys, recently it has been seen that into the Western plant into the Karnataka, there was the violence, and into this violence, the damage of more than 50 crore rupees is being staked. Now, what was the reason of this particular violence? It is because of the non-payment of the wages or the part payment of the wages, and even the workers were being made to work for the long hours. The women had to work into the night, and for that particular thing no proper safety measures were also being provided to the women. Now the Wistron had claimed that they were at fault and had even removed some of the top officials, and even the Apple, who was giving the major business to the Wistron, had also suspended the contract until the irregularities have not been cleared. Now, guys, this particular development had huge impact onto the center government's flagship program, that is the production linked incentive scheme, under which the government is intending to attract the foreign manufacturers into the India, but such kind of labor clashes will not be into the good light. Now, guys, it has been said that why such a problem is coming into the India, because in India there is no regard for the labor, and this particular thing can also be seen into the attitude of the state governments, who promulgated the ordinance into the light of the pandemic and diluted majority of the labor laws, including the Factory Act. Here it was provided that from 8-hour working day, the 12-hour working day is being made applicable, and all such other kind of things were also there. Now, guys, it has been said that government has utilized the pandemic as an excuse to knock out the labor laws in India. Guys, what had happened recently? The government had consolidated the labor laws into the four codes, that is the code on industrial relation, the code on occupational safety, health and working condition, the code onto the social security and wages. And in fact, the code on wage was passed into the last year, but guys, no such consultations have been done by the laborers, and as the laborers have not been representative into the majority of the laws, there have been some ill workings, and there are the backlashes from time to time. Now guys, even International Labour Organization had cautioned India with respect to the approach that it is taking for reforming the labor laws, and it has said that many of the labor laws which has been passed by various state governments, they are not going on with the international precedents. And particular case in point is the ILO's nudging on to the Uttar Pradesh government, which suspended the labor laws for the next 3 years. Now it has been said actually the India is trying to give the competition to the China, and is trying to attract the manufacturing into India, but still India is lacking in many of the respects. For example, number one, into the China, the factories provide the accommodation to the workers near the factory, and this is the reason that the China's industrial towns are slum free. But here in India, such kind of regulations are not existing. Then it has been provided that the local governments, they compete with each other in order to attract the investment, and into such thing many of the incentives are given. Moreover guys, the bureaucracy into the China, it is rewarded if it brings the adequate investment, but in India such kind of thing is not there. After that guys, the labor earnings into the India are very much low. If we see the periodic labor force survey, then according to it, every day the daily wage of the laborers, they are nearly 256 rupees, which is very much low than the living wage which has been defined by the 7th pay commission. And by this particular thing, the laborers, they are forced to work for the overtime, and into those overtime also the good payments are not being made by the firms such as the Wistron. So therefore such kind of clashes are happening. Now it has been said that the government, rather than just liberalizing the labor law, also need to face that whether the humane condition of life is being provided to the laborers or not. And even this particular thing has been provided as the directive principle of state policy under the part number 4 of the Indian Constitution. So guys, these are the major issues into this particular respect, and now we will be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and here we can see that the first set of data from the Chandrayaan 2 is being prepared to be released to the general public by the ISRO. Now, guys, when we talk about the Chandrayaan 2, first of all, you don't need to go into too much of the nitty-gritties that what data for what kind of people it is being prepared. However, if we see, Chandrayaan 2 has been the moon mission for the India, and for the first time, the Chandrayaan 1, or the first lunar mission, was launched in 2008. Now guys, this is the second mission. It was launched in 2019, and it contained a rover which was called as the Pragyan. Then it also had a lander which was called as Vikram, and the third was majorly the orbiter. Now guys, the information has been sent by the orbiter. Now, guys, the Vikram lander, as you might already be knowing, was hard landed, and therefore it became defunct. And now the orbiter is orbiting, and it has a life of nearly 7 years. And now now the ISRO is also planning to launch a third mission, that is the Chandrayaan 3, and for that particular thing, the preparations are being made. However, the date has not been finalized. Now, guys, this particular information which has been released by the ISRO will be available at the Pradhan portal, which is being hosted by ISSDC, which stands for the Indian Space Science Data Center. And guys, it is the nodal center of planetary data archive for the planetary mission of the ISRO. Now, the information which is being provided to the public, it is needed to be peer reviewed, and it needs to be into a particular format, and this is the PDS4 format, which stands for the Planetary Data System 4 standard. So guys, this is all about this particular article. I hope you have understood it. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much.